Yes, that's right, Adnan. The presence of an organisation called Hayat Tahrir al-Sham in the Idlib area has been mainly used as the pretext by the Syrian regime and Russia that's been acting in support of it to keep on with this operation in and around the Idlib area to retake it. It's the last rebel stronghold left in Syria. The regime wants it back quite badly, but Turkey very concerned that what happens there is going to create another major humanitarian crisis, that there are going to be tens of thousands of people heading for the Turkish border again. The UN estimates there are about 3 million people living in the Idlib area at the moment, many of them already internally displaced because of having left areas such as Aleppo before, when the regime has taken over there. And the Turkish border is only 40, 50 kilometres away, so there are they don't have very far to go to make that trip. Turkey appealing to the international community because it can't really deal with this all on its own at the moment. It says it's spent already $40 billion looking after them over several years, and there are about 3.6 million Syrian refugees already inside Turkey. Now, from that press conference there, it seems that these three presidents do have another sort of plan up their sleeve what to do about Idlib, but they weren't really very forthcoming about it. All that the Turkish president had to say was that in the coming days there will be some new developments. I suppose that's fairly understandable, because if you've got some adversaries there, you're not going to telegraph at a press conference what you're going to do to them in the next few days. So I think keeping their cards close to their chest in terms of what's going to happen there, but it's something we'll have to see in the coming days what happens, because these three countries have tried over the last 2 or 3 years different schemes to try and bring an end to the fighting in Idlib, and maybe they have something else up their sleeve, a brand new plan which they want to put into action.
Yeah, absolutely. But the other really, really important point that the three men have been discussing is the makeup of the Constitutional Committee, which will eventually rewrite the Syrian constitution. And Hassan Rouhani said all obstacles to its formation have been removed. And Recep Tayyip Erdogan saying that the committee is going to be made up in consultation, already having had those consultations with the United Nations. This is absolutely critical for Syria's future, a new constitution. But then, of course, there are going to be discussions about how much the regime is going to be prepared to give way in terms of a new constitution being much more representative of the whole of Syria and all Syrian interests, rather than it is at the moment, which very much seems to safeguard the situation of the ruling party.
Yes, that's right. This is quite a significant breakthrough, the announcement of this new constitutional committee. What we've heard in recent weeks is reports from various officials just saying it's very close to completion. There was going to be an announcement in the coming weeks, but this is the first time we've actually heard from anybody involved in this process that everything is now done and dusted. All the delegates on this committee have now been chosen, they've been confirmed, and now there's basically nothing in their way as to them getting on with the work now, having meetings, trying to draw up this constitution and moving Syria forward to a new political process. Now, it's still obviously going to be a very complicated way forward, because what we know about this committee already is it's likely to be divided into 2 bodies. There's going to be a body of 150 seats and a body of 45 seats. They're going to be equally split between members of the regime, members of the opposition, and also representatives of civil society. And there have been a lot of arguments over who's allowed to sit on that and whether civil society representatives will be there, whether their places will end up being taken by regime or opposition members masquerading as members of civil society. So there's a lot of wrangling going on, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of wrangling going on in future. But this is the first time anybody in the international community has come up with anything which is moving towards a constitution. The United Nations passed a resolution back in 2015, number 2254, calling for a new constitution and a move towards a political transition. They didn't really achieve very much at all in pursuit of this particular resolution, and it's only really through the Astana process that we've now got to this point where we have a committee set up.